starts. Okay. So I had the opportunity to come in today to watch your literacy lesson. So talk to me a little bit about that. The lesson. What was where were you trying to go with it? What was your objective? How do you think it went?
My objective was to have the kids to focus on going back in their text to find text evidence, and also to remember their steps for each part of the graphic organizer called story. The name of the story, and to go back and find the setting, the talking characters. Oops, there's a problem, and repeated attempts to solve it.
And that's something you guys have been talking about all year.
Yes.
And so you were getting them just to go back into the text to find the evidence with highlighting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've been talking a lot about differentiation. And that was one of the strengths that I saw. So you should definitely write that down.
Okay.
Differentiation for your groups of students. They knew what to do. They knew where to go.
Yes.
And you had lots of different levels of support. You had your small group here. You had your higher kids over there.
Mm-hmm.
What's the impact of doing that?
The impact of doing that is to, to make sure they are able to do it and finish it. If they have their own work that they can finish at their own level.
And feel supported, like they can do it instead of feeling overwhelmed. So I want to continue talking about the differentiation. So when students complete that story graphic organizer, what are the keys to success for that?
Being able to finish writing doing a sentence stem and to restate their question, not just write the answer down.
Sentence stem and complete sentences.
Mm-hmm.
So restating, really using that RACE strategy to restate.
Mm-hmm.
Complete sentences. What do you ideally want to see from each group? So what were you looking to see from this particular group that you met with here? What did you want to see from your higher kids and from your mids?
For my group that I was working with here, I wanted to make sure that they were able to go back in the text and with a little help, but they were able to do it, go back in the text and finish their sentence stem and complete it. And
on one component or multiple components?
On multiple components. So we did the setting, we did the talking characters, and then the oops, there's a problem.
And when they went back to the text, tell me more about that.
They were able to, because they don't know how to spell some of the words, so they were able to go back and from what we highlighted on the rug, we were able to go back and find it. Now I helped them with the beginning sound. I said, where would you see the word water? What does it begin with?
Yeah, I heard you talk about the what sound. Something we worked on a lot with Alexis.
Yes.
She better know that.
And she did. She did pretty good.
Yeah. Did she do her hand movement? I know this means like water.
No, she didn't. She didn't. She didn't show me that.
I was hoping.
Then my middle group, they were on the floor. So they had a sentence stem. They were supposed to complete it and make sure they went back and put the right information down on their paper from the text. And also my higher group, they were able to write the sentence stem by restating the question and complete it.
And did you take a look at that org?
I haven't had a chance to.
Yeah. I know, it's been a busy day. So I want to show you something. This is something that I created for an interactive read aloud, which is very similar to what you just did. I just want you to take a look at this.
We did this one.
Yeah, so I took it from your Scholastic News. So then here you have a text with the Scholastic News. This was for Main Idea. But I want you to notice, this is my higher level. Here's my mid-level. So what do you notice already?
That there is less support for the higher group.
Yeah. And look at the words on this page.
Small words.
Yeah, so for my higher kids, it's really lots of words, chance for them to practice. On this one, the level, there's a lot less words.
Right.
And then my lowest group, this is like some of the main idea and details. And then here's for the lowest group. Sorry, I had to copy and paste. So it takes a little bit.
Sorry. Okay.
So what do you notice?
Less words, more pictures.
So in terms of, this lesson was about main idea and details. So, and then here's what they were expected to do when they were done.
One detail is that the elephant had big ears. Another detail. So they had to remember a detail to write.
Right.
Okay.
So if you notice, think about the work that I'm asking them to do.
Mm-hmm.
First group had a completely different text,
Mm-hmm.
and then they had a graphic organizer,
Mm-hmm.
a little more complex than the second group.
Right.
And then the third group, it's really pretty scaled down as
Right.
well as the text,
Mm-hmm.
right? So what is the gap? I hate using that word, but what is the gap between this, what you see here, and what you had kids do? I know it's on a different topic,
Mm-hmm.
but what are you noticing as differences is a better word?
The difference is I used the same text or story, whereas you use different stories according to your group.
What do you think the power of that might be?
Better success, I guess.
Why do you think that?
Because it's at their level for
Yeah.
them to work and to do and complete.
So what do you think if you had to choose an action step? What do you think you would choose?
Probably do another for my lower group. Maybe get a text that has less words, more pictures.
Yeah, I feel like your differentiation is there. So now if we could just continue to build it, because you did. You had your small group here. You had them over there. They all knew what they needed to do. But the idea behind it is to build that independence, right? And so this group in particular needed a lot of help. So how can we build that independence?
They were able to do it, though, because we had gone over it on the rug, read the story together.
Sure.
And so they were able to answer the questions.
Sure.
It just wasn't a different text,
Sure. So they were able to do it from the floor to here, just continue that learning. So the idea then is, how do we build independence then to get them to transfer that skill? So then what I have today for the action step is develop differentiated tasks that lead to independence. I know that word is always so long.
That
lead to independence.
That lead to.
And I know I don't really have a how, but if you just want to put like 1, 2, and 3. So there's like 3 different ways, 3 things that we want to do in order to get to that point. So the first one is you want to group loosely according to level, which you've done.
Okay.
So you already have that step done. So that's the best part, is now we're just building on it. And I feel like you already did this one, so we're just going to take it another step. So determine what you want students to do in order to demonstrate independent proficiency.
Okay.
And that's going to look different for all 3 of your levels.
Yeah. And what was the last part?
In order to demonstrate independent proficiency. And then third, find the materials at their level that will lead to this. So again, you already have all of this. Let's just tweak it a little bit.
Okay. At their level.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, especially with like our Rihannas of the world and our Alexises, we definitely want them to start building into that independence, which that's hard. I've been working on that all year with them too.
There was one word that amazed me. She said, and I was going to write it down so I could tell you, but I cannot remember. But she's learning.
She is getting a lot better.
Yes.
A lot. I'm so proud of her. Rihanna, good thing we have a lot of data on her, because I'm worried. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I'm worried about her. Yeah, it's totally still on. But we have the MTSS information, and I'm pretty sure that with her retention, we'll have some really good information to start with. So that'll be a good start.
Okay.
It's like they made so much progress.
They have. I know.
And then they switch. Iris and Rihanna, they just switch between the 2 of them.
Right.
Who's on, who's not. Iris is on the off, and Rihanna's on. Okay, so let's think, and I know we only have a couple more minutes. No, it's okay. Let's think about an upcoming lesson and where you can implement this. And I know that we don't have very much time until spring games. Or wait, is that what y'all call them?
Yes,
spring games. Spring games. And swimming and all that other stuff. But where might be a place where we could practice this?
Find another benchmark lesson.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe reading choosing a book, maybe to read to the students.
Okay.
Anthony, mhm.
Okay, so like Monday or Tuesday, you're thinking? Give yourself some time.
On
Tuesday?
Mhm.
Great.
Mhm.
Okay, so then when you think about that, because I know we're running short on time, I want you to think about what's the objective of that lesson. So it's kind of just going through those steps.
Mhm.
In fact, do you happen to have it? So we just look at it really quickly. Your benchmark.
I do. So this one.
Great.
Yeah, I think it's on this
Is it up there?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Even better.
All right, this one.
Yeah. So what is what's like the next one you're going to teach? The next lesson after this?
This one, let's see. So the next one will be. This is a nonfiction.
You can do it with nonfiction too.
Okay.
What's a skill that you've been working on with nonfiction? I'm just going to bring this over here. Put it right here.
A skill that we've been working on.
In nonfiction. No, it's okay. I know it's been a long day.
It is.
Have you guys worked on main idea?
We have, yeah.
Okay.
We've
been
been
main
doing,
idea?
We've been doing main idea, character motivations.
Great. So let's do main idea.
Okay.
So we want kids to be able to find the main idea or find details.
Let's do details.
Okay. So then let's think about this. How do you think the different levels will be able to demonstrate? So think about your highest kids. What do you want them to be able to do?
My highest kids to be able to find maybe all of the details in the story.
Do you want to give them the main idea and really just specifically work on details?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then we're going to give them the main idea,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're going to have them find all the details.
Yes.
Are you going to provide a graphic organizer?
Yes.
Okay. What text are you thinking about?
For them, I don't know. I haven't thought about it yet.
You have Scholastic News.
Okay.
That might be a great place to start. They
Right, 'cause
normally
we do
have
use
graphic
that.
organizers. Graphic organizers that are. I didn't even throw this second time. They have that stuff in there for you. And if you think about your mid kids, we have that reading A to Z that we can look at a different text level for them and find that.
Okay.
What do you think about your lowest kids? How are you going to get them to be independent?
Maybe does reading AZ have something their level?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can look through that,
Mm-hmm.
find their level.
And it doesn't have to be on what?
No.
Okay.
No. This is one that you're going to model with.
Mm-hmm.
So this is really your think aloud.
Right.
You might even. Here's the thing. You could do main idea, and then you model, and I do with finding a detail.
Right.
Then you could do a we do with me finding a detail. With us finding a detail.
Okay.
And then they can go back to their seat and find details
On their own story.
on their own story. We
Right.
want to see that transference.
Mm-hmm.
With our lowest of the low, you might continue working with this. So that's also an option that you can do.
Okay.
But again, this text is really dense for them.
Right.
And so we want to be careful that we're still allowing them the chance to try it on their own.
Okay.
I forgot what I was going to say. Okay, so that's a great place to start. So I'm gonna pose a couple of questions and I want you to think about it and we can write it down. Do you want to come back over here and we'll write it down really fast? I feel bad for this video because it's like swing it around. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a scenario and I want you to kind of think through it.
Yes.
So I'm gonna put you back in that frame. I know. So you just finished the lesson,
yes.
Right? And you have your 3 different things. So how will you dole out that work?
Can you restate that
I will
question?
restate the question. So instead of, it can take a lot of time.
Yes.
Right? So it can be like, oh, you're high, here you go. Or and then that tells them where they are, right? Which is a little scary sometimes. Or you can be like, okay, if you're in the lion group, you come over here and you get your papers. But I'm wondering if you might need to have additional conversations with some of your groups. So
they know what to do when they get to their table.
right. Because you're giving them their own text and their own work to do.
Okay.
So you might have to kind of keep some groups with you before you let them go. So what might that look like then?
Well, I kind of did that today.
Yes,
with
you did.
My groups. I just told my group,
Mm-hmm.
go to your table.
Yep.
And then my group that sits on the floor, I had them just watch while I went over the paper.
Yeah.
So
that's perfect.
Yeah.
So something like that, it might be your kiddos, your highest kiddos, read this text, complete this, I'll see you later, bye. If you get done in time, continue reading your Scholastic News.
Okay.
Your mid kids, you might want to keep together, just here and have your friends stay by you and just have them maybe start reading their text.
Okay.
So then they have something
and
to
maybe
do.
Have a partner
Yeah.
to work with.
I mean, if it's low enough of a text, they should be able to do it on their own, and I say should.
Right.
But yeah, that's always an option too. So then you send them off to go read and like, okay, I want you to go try reading this book on your own and I'm going to call you back. So then they go off and they're independent then for a little bit, which is really empowering for them.
Right.
Then you pull your mid kids and you're saying, okay, here's what you're going to do. Here's your text that you're going to read. Here's what you're going to fill out. I'm going to check back in on you, right? So you're kind of bouncing back and forth and then you have time to go check on your highest group that's all by themselves.
Okay.
And then you go back to your lowest babies and you say, okay, let's talk about this. And we can fill it out together.
Okay.
Something I saw you doing, which I loved, was almost like a shared writing, but they were all writing their own thing.
Right. And I wanted them to be independent and not depend on me to do all the writing and thinking for them. So that's why I did it that way.
I love that. And I think if we give them the chance to go try it on their own first with a text at their level and then come back and do a shared writing together, it might be super powerful.
Okay.
But those are some things that now that we've talked about it, that's more likely to happen, right? So then we're going to be able to do that and see, try it out. If it doesn't work, we can try something else.
Okay.
Oh, here's my other thing. What if they ask you how to spell a word? What are you going to do?
What if they
ask you how to spell a word?
I tell them no. I tell them to stretch that word out, write down what sounds they hear. We have word folders over there. We have our word wall. So I tell them no because they know they'll depend on you to spell all the time. And they have to be able to do it on their own.
Absolutely. Especially with like Rihanna.
Yes.
I love her though.
And she knew how to spell the.
She was doing awesome today. I was so proud of her. So
and she knew where to find it in the sentence that was right above the sentence she was
So maybe even set the expectation before you send them off. Like, I'm not helping you with any words. I really want you to stretch it out or find it in the text or whatever it is. So just setting that expectation. What if they want your help?
I will assist them if. Yes, I will help them, but it depends on what it is. But for spelling words, no.
Right.
But it just.
What if they're like, I don't get it?
Then I'll just reiterate and just go over my directions again, or we can read it together, read the story together.
Yeah, one thing that I've noticed is kids do that when they don't. They don't want to try.
Right.
So it might almost be like, I'll come to your group in just a second. I'll be right there. Let me go work with this group. Why don't you try something?
Right.
She's like, I forgot. No,
like
you
Christian
didn't.
Today.
Yeah, when he had his mental breakdown, right?
Yes.
So then it's, well, I'll be right with you. I want you to go try something, and I'll come right back to you.
Okay.
So then setting that expectation of, I'll come to you when I'm ready.
Yes.
So then they know they have to stay there and keep trying it. But with first graders, it's a little bit hard. So that's where you're the master.
Right.
So, so I'm going to come in on Tuesday to see it in action.
Okay.
If that's okay. 8:30 to 9:30, right?
Yes.
I won't stay the whole time though. Just to see. I'll probably come in at like.
Maybe towards the end.
Like 9.
Okay.
Do you think?
Yes.
So then I can come in and see it. Okay. Well, thanks for letting me videotape
Thank you, Mrs. Jackson.
Yeah.